Hello everybody and welcome to this, a very quick video by me this week. The reason it's a little bit different than normal this week is because I have a family wedding to go to, so I'm filming this really quickly on Saturday so it can be uploaded on Sunday and everything like that, but that's not really important. But I just wanted to do a quick video about all this massive big hype that seems to be going on at the moment between about this supposed deal between Disney and Fox. Look, obviously it would be great to have all of the MCU, well, all characters from Marvel Comics in the MCU. It would be wonderful, of course it would be. I don't think anyone would say it's not, but there is a few problems with it. One being that the X-Men films that Fox have made, on the whole, have been very good. Even though, myself personally, I didn't like Apocalypse or the two Deadpool films. That's just my personal opinion. Not massively keen on Legion as a TV show, but like I said, that's just me. So I think if anything did happen, I think it would be best if Marvel kept X-Men out of the MCU, just simply down to the fact that those films have done really well on their own, and obviously I know supposedly most likely thing that they would do would be basically cancel all those films and recast them and everything like that and then bring them into the MCU. But how would you do that? I wouldn't. Like I say, I wouldn't do that at all. I just think it would be bad, considering we've obviously spent so long trying to build up the Inhumans in the TV show and everything like that, and the idea that because things haven't worked out exactly the way Marvel wanted to, you kind of throw those under the bus and start afresh with the X-Men. I think that would be wrong. But going on to the main thing that I want to talk about, which is the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, to me, are the best. That'd be the best thing about this deal, would be the Fantastic Four in the MCU. And I want the Fantastic Four in the MCU. I'm sure I've talked about this before. I've made my feelings about this very clear, and I have a great way of doing it. I always think it would be brilliant, really superb, to introduce the idea, if you're going to bring the Fantastic Four in, to do it in the past. Do what they've done with Captain Marvel. Do a film that's set in the past. Show that the Fantastic Four were around in the 60s. Say, even if it was, even if you only do it and it's the end of their first mission, they get sucked into the quantum zone, which is it the quantum zone? The thing that Ant-Man and the Wasp will be dealing with, and that Janet Van Dyne's been stuck in. Get them stuck in there, and I think that would be the best way of doing it. And then the idea, when they get pulled back out, it's now the modern day, and you've got these characters that are, from the past, and then you don't have to worry about the idea of trying to suggest that you've got a really young Reed Richards and Ben Grimm and Susan Storm and Johnny. Because I've heard one thing about the idea that they, at the beginning of Civil War, of course, Tony Stark greenlit all of the financial backing for all of these students' experiments or whatever they needed to do. The idea that Reed Richards was in that, I think, doesn't work, because Reed Richards works as an older man. I didn't like what they did. I don't like what they did in the Ultimate Universe with them. I didn't like what they did with the Fantastic film from a couple of years ago, 2015. I just didn't think it worked. The best way they did it, of course, was those original two Fantastic Four films that Chris Evans was in. I think will they hit those characters dead on, and I think if obviously you can't have those actors back, but if Marvel kind of, and obviously they set it in the 60s, like I said, and then I think it would be really clever, and it would explain why no one's heard of them. The idea that maybe Shield kept it all very hush hush back then, and then it's because then it's building out the further universe, which Marvel is obviously doing a lot more of now, because it's all very well and good doing stories that carry on, make the story go into the future. Of course, I fully understand that, and you need that, of course, to carry on that story. But you also need to know what's happened in the past to help the story carry on in the future. And I think that's really important, and that's why I reckon if I was in charge, that's what I would do. But I'm not. But like I said, I just wanted to kind of say that if it was going to happen, it will happen. But Marvel will do what if Marvel do get the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, exactly what's going to happen. The X-Men will be chucked in, and then everyone. It's not even going to be a proper X-Men film. It will be a Wolverine film, and then everyone's going to be massively disappointed that it's not going to be Hugh Jackman. And then obviously it's going to just become overexposed, and then the X-Men it will no longer be about the MCU. It won't be the idea that the cornerstone of the MCU is the Avengers. They'll carry on making Avengers films, of course they will, but the new point of the MCU will just basically be cramming the X-Men in. And then what will happen is the same thing will happen that happened in the comics, which is just there's too much going on at once, and then the whole thing just gets far too overcomplicated and too unbelievably mind-blowing, and then it will all just blow up in Marvel's faces. That's why I think it would be better if, right, it would be great if they did get it, of course it would, but you need to do it slowly but surely, and don't throw all of them in at once. That's why I reckon if you did the Fantastic Four, maybe 1 or 2 films in the 60s, then bring them into the modern day, I reckon that would be a really clever idea. That, to me, works. The X-Men, need to be, like I said, drip-fed into the MCU. Do what they did in, even if you set this in, the 80s and the 90s, a bit like Captain Marvel. The idea that the mutants have been around for years and years and years, and it's Charles Xavier or even Shield have been keeping it all very quiet, hush hush, and no one's even been aware of it. And it's only now that the calm has happened with the Inhumans that the mutants feel as if they're safe to come out and show themselves to the world. That may not happen, I don't know, but I'm just thinking, as Marvel seem to be slowly trying to move away from the Inhumans in the MCU, which I think is a great shame. You might have saw my video about that the other week. I thought the actual TV show was really good. I enjoyed it. I would say maybe I disagreed with some of the casting, but that's just me. But I definitely think it deserved a second season. And but that's the thing, like what I was saying about it the other day, the other video. The Inhumans were originally slated for a film. In my opinion, they should have got a film. And it's just, if the X-Men were there, they wouldn't be demoted to a TV show. Of course they wouldn't. It's just down to the fact that you've got people there who obviously want to have their own ideas and everything like that, and they if you've got other people that are involved in those decision makings, you have to fight your corner, and then until either you can prove that you were correct and they're wrong, or do what Kevin Feige did, which was go over the heads of people and go to the new big boss and get it sidelined, and that's what happened. And that's why I think it's such a massive shame that that did happen, because I reckon if the Inhumans had worked, it would have been brilliant, and give it maybe 2 or 3 seasons of the show, and then it probably would have been given a movie. And then obviously I think Kevin Feige would have maybe looked a bit silly in that respect. But obviously, I suppose in many ways he's quite happy that that didn't happen. But anyway, look, I've gone off topic. I do apologise. But like I said, I just wanted to talk about about all the rumours and all that sort of stuff I've heard about this deal. Is it on? Is it off? Is it not happening? Has someone else bought in? Has someone else done this? Has something gone like this? Is it close to be signed and all that sort of stuff? And obviously, it's all speculation. It's all very interesting. But like I said, I just wanted to get my point across to say that I really don't want the X-Men in the MCU. I want the Fantastic Four in the MCU, but I do not want the X-Men, because I don't think the X-Men would bring anything really to the MCU. I think they are doing a superb job, even though, you know, obviously I don't like a lot of those films, but I think they're doing superb stuff with their own film series, and I don't think there needs to be messed with. I don't think, even if you did completely cancel all those films and bring in new actors, I don't think it would be necessarily that good for the MCU. But the Fantastic Four, I definitely think need to be, and I hope if it does happen, the Fantastic Four does get brought into the MCU and are done properly, because everyone that knows anything about those characters say those 3 films that we have had do not show the Fantastic Four in the true light that they should be shown in. But like I said, sorry this is a bit of a rant. Like I said, I'm getting myself, as soon as I finish filming this and editing it, I'm going to have to go and get ready for this wedding. So can I just say, best of luck to my sister and future brother-in-law on married life. And I hope you have a wonderful day. It looks quite nice. It looks as if it's going to be quite a nice sunny day even. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to spending the day there, and I shall see you next week. Goodbye. Oh, also, sorry, obviously, completely forgot. If you would like, you can leave a comment, a subscribe down below. You can become one of my patrons if you like. And as always, like I say, at the end of all of my videos, I shall see you next week.